First of all, what does the word commitment really mean? You're saying yes to a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Say that.
You're saying yes to, I agree with how you deal. Okay. Let's just start there. How you deal with things. I agree to that.
What is going on, everybody? You are now tuned in to another episode of No Cap Allowed.
Cap.
I am your host, Mello, and on this show, we don't do no teaching, no preaching. We just want to give you game on how to get ahead of life, no matter where you are in life. Now, we do talk about any and everything, but most importantly, we don't do no capping. All right, guys. So today I am super excited. We have a very, very, very special guest. This person is not only my rock. This person is not only my backbone. She carried me for 9 months, okay? She taught me as a young man what it meant to be a man. She stood 10 toes down for me. And without further ado, let me give this proper introduction right here.
Please do.
All right, here we go. Air Force EMT/medical tech, singer, songwriter, and musician for the band Perfect Mix. Entrepreneur, owner of Classy Creations by Sharice, school teacher, and both a star and red jacket, Mary Kay consultant. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my mama, Miss Sharice White Amos. How are you today, man?
What it do, son?
What's going on?
All right.
Was that an okay introduction, man? What'd you think about that?
It's all right. No cap.
Man, thank you so much for being on this show. It means the world to me.
For sure.
I'm super excited. I'm super stoked right now.
Yeah.
And
this
I hope
is a long time coming.
it is. We actually recorded a few shows prior to this when I was first getting started.
Yeah.
And that's just a testament to how much you've supported me, man. I greatly appreciate that.
I love you, man.
I love you. All right. So without further ado, man, the show is called No Cap. And what we do here on No Cap, man, we just talk about wherever the conversation takes us, right? The only rule is don't cap about it. Okay? Don't care about what the masses say. Put your opinion on here and live with your truth. Okay? Can you do that, Mom?
Let's bring it.
Can you do that, baby?
I think I can.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, Mom, on my last show, we kind of took a turn. We talked about the military a little bit, and obviously, you were in the Air Force. How long were you in the Air Force for?
9.5 years.
9.5 years. Okay. And while you were in the Air Force, what exactly, how did you get into the Air Force? What made you decide to go into it? And, what transpired from the Air Force?
Oh, okay. That was a great question. Well, I'm going to tell you like this. I've always wanted to be independent. I've always wanted to see what was out there. And I kind of lived in a structured environment, right?
Right.
So single parent home, outstanding mom, but I knew there was more out there. So what happened was my grandfather ended up having a stroke, and I wanted to know more about the body. I wanted to know why does that happen to people, And I always said that I wanted to do something in the medical field, to help people, find out why the heart operates the way it does. Okay, so fast forward, I'm in, I think it was like 9th grade, and somebody from the Air Force came to visit our biology class, all classes, right?
Right.
And it wasn't career day or anything like that, but this person walked in with that uniform, and I just knew, wow, that's going to be me one day. Well, fast forward from that, I ended up joining the military right after high school.
Okay.
And I landed the best job ever.
Wow.
Which was medical.
Wow. Okay.
Didn't even ask for it.
Yeah. Did you ever have like a calling for the medical field? Like, is that something that you always thought that you would get into? You just didn't know how you were going to do it, or did it just happen spur of the moment when that moment happened?
It happened for me once I saw my grandfather. Okay. But before that, I've always been a poet, a writer, a speaker.
Got you.
I can talk.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be a life coach. I always wanted to help people. I always wanted to articulate, because I could not stand hearing my peers break verbs, and that just irritated me. I loved English lit and things of that nature. So I just wanted to be a writer of some sort.
Yeah. And how has the Air Force impacted your life?
Oh, wow. Let me tell you something. Military life versus civilian life, if I could encourage the youth of today that really doesn't know what they want to do with their lives, if I could encourage them to at least try the military for 4 years, 6 years, just to see what that would do for them, I guarantee you most of those people that I could encourage to go in, they would stay in.
Yeah.
So the impact for it that came from it actually was the fact that it taught me responsibility. It taught me structure. It taught me even poise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now my mom was a great mom. She taught me a lot of things,
Right.
but she wasn't a man, and the man was absent in the home. So when I got to the military, it was real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And real life doesn't do you like your mom does. It doesn't hold your hand.
Right. Right.
So it also taught me how to self self persevere and how to preserve myself. And man, the impact is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's it's funny you mentioned all those things because that actually was my follow-up question. What lessons did you learn in the Air Force that you don't feel like you may or may not have learned being a civilian? So you kind of answered some of those things, but is there anything else that you would add to that? Or
Well, I can tell you this. I didn't go to college. I went straight to the military after high school. What I learned about the military is they teach you twice as fast, if not triple fast, what you would learn in college.
okay.
So 4 years of college for a civilian is actually 4 months of training in the military.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, they pack on the knowledge. And so when you leave the military, you are taking with you a plethora of knowledge.
Right.
And
right.
you can actually run circles around a civilian.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Ma, I want to ask you this question because this was kind of something that was brought up too on the last show that I had. What were your thoughts on me joining the military? And here's the kicker: were you disappointed that I didn't join?
Hey, straight up, I was not disappointed that you didn't join. But for you, I want okay, it's one of those things that only a mother so connected with her son as I am with you would
Right.
understand what I'm saying.
Right. Right. Right.
I saw so much in you. And what I didn't want you to do is limit yourself. The military would have opened up an array of doors of possibilities for you. That's at that time what I was concerned about for you. I didn't want a small town like Jackson, Tennessee. No cap. But a small town like Jackson, Tennessee, I didn't want that to limit you.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I didn't want the vast city that you grew in of Biloxi, Mississippi.
Stand on that. Stand on that. Stand on that. Biloxi, Mississippi. What's going on?
Keys love.
Let's go.
I didn't want that to also limit you.
Right.
Because what I mean by that is, okay, you say a small town limiting you, a big town limiting you. The small town of Jackson, Tennessee really has nothing to offer you. So you're going to stay stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bigger city like Biloxi has everything thrown at you. But if you, as young as you were, did not experience that vast city and you were only limited to the military base, it still would have stagnated you because you would have been in that military mindset. You wouldn't have been in that civilian world mindset. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I didn't want you to ever limit yourself with just one avenue. Joining the military would have given you several avenues. Okay. But that was when you were 18.
Right.
When you were little, you didn't know that.
Right,
Okay.
right. So with that being said, obviously you've seen me grow up. You see what I've become, where I am now in life. And, obviously I've got a long way to go still, But do you think had I joined the military, I'd be where I am now or further along? Or do you feel like me not joining where I'm at now it has put me further ahead than where I would have been had I joined? Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, and I'm going to tell you no. That's a dead solid no. And I'll tell you why. What's for you is for you.
Right.
What you don't choose, obviously, is not for you.
Yeah.
You've got to experience your life the way you need to so that you can advance the way you need to. So if you didn't choose the military, I'm not going to bestow that upon you force it, just like the song. If it don't fit, don't force it. Just relax and let it flow.
Right.
So I relaxed
Yeah.
and I let you flow the way you needed to.
Yeah.
Okay. If you chose the military, that was going to be your choice after you did your college
Right.
because you wanted to go to college. Why would I limit you from going to college? Why would I hold you back?
Yeah.
So where you are now, I stand on it. I am admiring you.
Appreciate that, man.
I am loving what I see.
I appreciate
And I
that.
say, go forth, go forward and pay it forward.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what, man, that's something that, and I'm glad that you mentioned that what's for you is for you. Don't force it. Because a lot of parents do that. A lot of parents will force their dreams and push their goals and ambitions and aspirations off onto their kids.
Right.
And, it's funny with me having, my two boys, I never got a chance to really showcase my talent, with sports.
Okay.
And so that's something that I've never pushed on them, but I live through them when they say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. But I think it is important to let your kids know, hey, if you choose to do this route, that's totally fine. But if you
Right.
choose not to, you should be okay with that,
Exactly. Now let me back you up on something just a little bit. Because I'm a very observant person and I listen to people. And sometimes when we say things, there's a different way to say it.
Yeah.
And one thing that I know you don't do is you don't live through your children. Let me explain what that means, okay? In my opinion.
Right.
Living through your children is you see something in them that you fell short on. So you're going to force yourself upon them to walk your walk.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
No cap.
What you do is you instill rules, you instill respect and responsibility, and with that responsibility comes choice. You give them choices, they choose, and then you inspire them.
Yeah.
So for all those parents out there that may say they live through their children, if they're doing what you're doing, which is inspiring and supporting their children like you're supporting yours, they're not living through their children. What they're doing is being a support system.
Right.
I can't stand parents actually who live through their children.
Yeah.
Because what that does for a child is confuses them. They don't know their identity.
Yeah.
They don't have one,
Right.
right?
Right.
They were assigned one.
Yeah.
And now they're miserable. That's why we have a lot of death rates. That's why we have a lot of situations where children may have been born one way, but then they turn another way because they don't feel that love, that attention. So when you are supporting your children, which is what I did with you,
Yeah.
you give them choice,
Right.
then they find their identity.
Yeah. Yeah. So dad's in the army, right?
Yeah.
Dad's in the army.
Love the army, army wife.
Is that something that you seeked out as far as like, relationship wise? You came from the Air Force in the military. Did you say I need to be with somebody that's, equally in the, someone that equally has that experience that I do, or did it
Hell
even
no.
matter?
Hell no.
So it didn't matter.
Okay,
It just
so
happened?
it just happened, and it's funny because paths cross in life,
Right.
and I want people to understand something. Your life is like water, okay? You have so many different, how can I put it? You have so many different avenues that you travel in your life and don't even realize you're crossing paths with the person that you're destined to be with,
Right,
right?
right.
Or someone that you're supposed to meet.
Right.
My husband and I, at the time, I was already out of the military.
Right.
He was still in the military.
Right.
And we were both at Keesler and didn't even know it.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. I didn't
Fast
even know that.
forward.
Right.
He's working, as he's in the military,
Right.
he's working at a local casino. A local casino for extra money, just, playing around money.
Right.
I'm out of the military. I get a job at that same casino.
Okay. Now, which casino was this one again?
This was the Grand Casino in
Grand-
Biloxi.
Okay. Got you. Got you.
With that being said, it was only by chance happening that we met. We talked, and we found out that each other had been at the same base for all that time.
Wow.
Never knew each other, never ran into each other,
Yeah.
never saw each other.
Wow.
And then we end up getting a job at the same casino. And it's like, this is meant to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you sure it's meant to be? Or are you just saying it's meant to be because you want to
Right.
holler at a sister? You
Right,
know what
of
I'm
course,
saying?
yeah.
You know?
You gotta slap some game in
You know?
there. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the design of life, whatever, like I told you, whatever is meant for you is for you.
Yeah.
He found his way back to me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And let's be fair, I found my way to him. So, no.
So speaking of, finding your way to a person, destiny, fate, things of that nature, do you believe in soulmates?
Yes and no. I'll tell you why I say that. I believe that, which is how I taught you, you have to understand what it is you're looking for. And you have to study it. And you don't study a person.
Right.
You go within yourself and you study yourself, your moves. When you cultivate or you perfect your own moves, you're going to be looking for someone to migrate to just like that.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Right.
If it happens to be somebody out there who is doing the exact same thing, they've been raised to believe they deserve better. They, not with a chip on their shoulder, but just they've been taught you need to be respected and you need to give respect. You need to expect your mate to do these things for you. In turn, you need to do these things for your mate. If someone else out there is doing the same exact thing and you all actually do meet, then I feel like it was meant soulfully for you to meet. And so you become soulmates.
Got you.
It's a soul connection,
Got you.
right?
So are you saying that soulmate, like the idea of a soulmate is someone that was already designed and made for you, right? And eventually you guys cross paths and you meet, right? Are you saying that you don't agree with that and it's more so of an energy and you can become soulmates when you match each other's energy? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Because they say there's somebody for everybody out there. And I do believe that. Are they your soulmate? You may not connect with them soulfully. You may only connect with them, you may be attracted to something about them.
Right.
And then you grow together and you become one. That's not a soulmate. A soulmate is that feeling you get, that vibe you get from a person that completes your sentences when you're not even thinking about it.
Right.
Or they may know to get you something and you may not ask for it. That's a soul connection. It's like I breathe for you, I think for you, but I'm not trying to control you. I'm soulfully connected to you.
Got you. Yeah.
That makes sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. And I think a lot of people put a lot of pressure on that term soulmate. And what I mean by that is I think that, not everybody that comes into your life is meant to stay in your life. And I think people, when you say that, they want to get upset. They want to get mad. They don't understand that, just because it didn't work out doesn't mean that I'm a bad person.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Right, exactly.
It just simply means soulfully,
Soulfully.
we are not on the same frequency. We're not on the
Right.
same vibration.
Right.
And at some point, one of us has to be strong enough to say, I learned a lot from you. It was great. It was good while it lasted, but I've got to move forward with finding my soulmate, that person that I connect with.
Right.
And I think relationships in general are just so hard because, when you go into it with lust. You like the idea of the person.
Yeah.
You like what they bring to the table, things of that nature. But when you talk about, and this is leading to another question that I have for you, when you talk about fully committing to somebody, right? I believe that's when the work starts. That's when it really begins. And, I come from a generation where I'm just outside of the, you date for a couple years, and then you don't even live together yet. You know what I'm saying? You just date and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I feel like I'm in that generation where people started to get together quick, and without actually the is it courtmanship? Courtmanship. Courtmanship. That's a different
Tapping
word.
on you.
Yeah, right. The courtship is not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's easy. It's easy to do that. It's easy to see something that you like. But when you actually sit down and you're like, okay, what are your goals and aspirations? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, yeah.
It's so funny because people get so intimidated by that.
Right.
You know, they get flustered. Like,
Right.
why is this person thinking so far ahead?
Right.
You know, but here's the thing. I've always thought this, right? I've always said, by the time I'm 40, 45, I want to be able to start enjoying my money.
Okay.
I want to enjoy the things that I've worked hard for in my 20s, in my
Gotcha.
teens,
Right.
right? And I developed that as I became an adult because working at the dealership, you see these couples come in, you know, they're 40 plus, you know, and they're writing checks, you know, they're just,
Right.
they'll write a $30, $40, $50,000 check and then go to Sam's Club and still go grocery shopping
Exactly.
like it was nothing, you know?
Right.
And for me, that's what I strive for,
Okay.
you know, to
And I
have
see that in you, yes.
yeah, to have that financial stability and that emotional connection to somebody. Because here's the thing, man. I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling, but
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this,
You're the host.
right? Yeah, this is my show,
I'm just a guest.
right? I think people don't understand that. And I'm talking about marriage here.
Okay.
This is my idea. I'm not married. You are. So you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, right?
Okay.
You can tell me if I'm capping.
I'll give you my opinion. Okay.
Right? I think when you get married, it's less about the fun times. You know what I'm saying? It's less about the idea of being with somebody, all the fun, adventurous, let's explore the world and all that kind of stuff. I feel like that's when the empire begins to be built. You know what I'm saying? That's when you start building the empire. Let me get with this. I mean, obviously all the lovey-dovey vacations, all that stuff is a part of it, obviously. But I'm saying, like, when you talk about soulmates, right? I feel like it's important to come to the table with what you already expect your relationship to end up looking like, right? And what I mean by that, I'm not saying that you're already gonna
follow.
come ready. I'm saying if you know, I hear a lot of guys, man, they'll be like, man, I want a woman that makes good money and she does this and she does it. And then I look and I'm like, but you're not bringing that to the table. So you can only attract what you are.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So I think people don't understand that, you know, when it comes to relationships and marriages, that's when the real work starts. That's when you really sit down and you budget together. You talk about finances together. It's not a race. It's not who's gonna outshine who.
Right.
You know, it's like, what are our goals? What are our what do we share in common? What are our commonalities? Right.
Right.
You know, those things like that. And so my question to you is, I'm sorry again. I just
No,
rambled.
I'm following. Go ahead.
But my question is what is your advice or your opinion on, you know, or what can a person expect
Okay.
when they're getting ready to get married and get into a relationship? What can they expect from that?
Okay, so obviously every situation is going to be different, okay? But here we are, we're looking at two people who want to commit to each other, right?
Right.
First of all, what does the word commitment really mean? You're saying yes to a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Say that.
You're saying yes to, I agree with how you deal, okay? Let's just start there. How you deal with things. I agree to that. Well, if I agree to it, why am I going to try to change it after we get married?
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So, yes, you're right. There is work. But you're also saying yes if there are children involved. I agree. Now, it doesn't matter if it's the male or the female, whomever has children. The other is agreeing, I am going to accept your shit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Baby mama,
Right.
children accepting me,
Right.
family accepting me.
That's a big one.
Okay?
Yeah.
It goes deeper than just let's work through this and let's move on anyway.
Right.
So I agree with you, and I love what you said. The courtship has been taken out. People do not give each other enough time to be around each other,
Yeah.
to understand what that shit really is.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm saying shit a
That's
lot
what it is. I mean, that's what it is.
because when you think about a relationship, you only think about the fun, goodness, the sweetness, the cherishing moments. You don't think about the headaches.
Right.
You don't think about the days when you're really sick. And I'm talking deep gut sick,
Yeah.
headache sick, that makes your body sick, where you're saying to yourself, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, all that I did just say still can bring about some sweet moments. But you have to have that soul connection. You have to have that person who understands you,
Right.
finishes those sentences for you, thinks with you, for you. If you get sick, they know what to do, right? But if you don't have children, that's still fine. But where's the courtship? Where's the love language?
Yeah.
Love language is very important between two people. And as I've always taught you, and I'm not trying to put your business out there, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you know,
Absolutely.
when I raised you, we had a special bond where we could talk about anything.
Always.
I even taught you how, and I'll explain this, people. Don't get crazy on us. I even explained to you about the scent of your partner.
Yeah.
Know your partners in and out. And what I mean by that, people, is when they walk in a room,
Yeah.
without even looking, I know my partner is somewhere around me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. People don't want to say that it's real. It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
It goes straight to the sex. Oh my gosh, she talking about, she taught him the scent of a woman. What's she talking about?
Right.
People, calm down. I'm talking about the actual love language of learning your partner. If you want to commit to someone, you, as a soulmate, soulful connection, you should only get married if you all understand each other's love languages.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. I feel that. One thing I want to add to what you kind of said, in the beginning stages, like you said, you have to accept somebody else's baggage that they're bringing into the relationship. I think it's a double-edged sword with that.
It is.
Because yes, you do need to accept it, right? But it's also, I feel like, if you see something that you don't like, if you see something that you do want to change, because you can't, like you said, you can't change it once you agree to it.
Right.
Right.
And that's all I was saying.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm with you. But I'm just clarifying for some people that didn't hear that
Right.
properly,
And I'm glad you did. Bring it back around.
You can't change it once you agree to it. But also, right, if you see those things that you don't like and you talk those things out and you agree that those things are going to be changed and they're not being changed, that also too means that possibly that person isn't connected to you either, because
Right.
they're not. You already say that's a red flag. That's what you call it, a red
Right.
flag.
It's a red
they're
flag.
showing you.
Right.
So I just want to simply say it's okay to, because in relationships you have to be vulnerable, right?
Right. You have to
gotta-
bend a little.
You
Yes.
have to,
Yes.
but it's okay to walk away from something, right?
Right.
Even when you think that person is for you, it's okay to walk away from something when you're being shown that isn't your soulmate, and that's the hardest pill to swallow.
Oh, definitely.
That's the hardest pill to swallow,
Yeah.
because you invest so much time, you invest so
Right.
much love, so much care into
Right.
something, and then you say, I'll be a failure if I leave this. I people look at me a certain way. You mentioned family. Family is another big one. When you get attached to somebody's family, you mentioned kids. When you get attached to kids, we try to convince ourselves that this person is my soulmate, and we end up trying to change them. When in all actuality,
You're changing.
you're changing,
Yeah.
right? And
Right.
in my opinion, a true soulmate doesn't change one another, because what they bring together is what makes the whole relationship like
Build.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Now,
So,
I'm glad you brought it back around, because I do want to clarify as well. And that's what I'm talking about. The bond between us, it's like, you feel me, you read me. You know where I'm going. So without and do you see how that worked?
Absolutely.
Instead of, coming back around and saying, "Well, mom, you're just wrong."
Yeah,
You expounded on the situation and you gave me your feedback. That helped me think about what I needed to correct for myself.
Yeah.
And that's what a relationship is all about as well. You don't make a person you don't belittle a person.
Yeah,
You don't make
right.
them feel like they can't figure things out.
Right.
You don't make them feel like you always have to be the voice.
Yeah.
So with that being said, everybody talks about communication. Okay, so let's talk about communication for a second. There's something I don't like. I don't agree with how you operate. I bring my feedback to it. Now we have a choice.
Right.
We can amicably sit down and listen to one another and come up with a common denominator.
Yeah.
Or you're showing me this is how it's going to be. If I go ahead and agree to it, what do I have to say after marriage? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No.
Right?
No. Yeah. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then if we come to an agreement and you agree and I agree, then I expect a change.
Yeah.
It's okay to say I expect.
Right.
People are scared to say that with each other
Yeah.
because that becomes where they start to listen to friends and
Right.
family.
Right.
And what do they always tell you? If you've never heard this, I'm going to share it with you. A lot of times for your best wedding advice, people are going to tell you, don't let your friends and family know your business.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, if it's going on pre-marital, it's going to happen post-marital,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
So if you all agree to something, let it be between you and let it work.
Right.
Don't let friends and family come in and say, well, they're talking for you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just talking about a healthy relationship. We could
Right.
go down a whole rabbit hole about, people that are in bad relationships. Well,
Yeah.
see, that wasn't good advice because such and such, they're going through stuff and he's speaking for her and that's wrong. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the healthy relationships where two people are smart enough to figure out, intelligent enough
Yeah.
to figure out A and B do not get you to Z. You still have a whole array of alphabet to go through. We need to work it step by step.
Yeah.
Now I know I'm talking around the circle, so I'm going to get back to what I'm saying. I agree with what you said, but I also want to add this. When I said you have to agree to each other's shit,
It's okay, man.
shit,
You can say what you want to say.
when you agree to it, I did not mean just deal with it.
Right. No. No. Yeah. I'm
I
glad you clarified
meant-
that because somebody would think that. No.
Right.
Yeah. No.
And I don't want people to think, well, she's married. Is she just dealing with stuff? Or she's married. Is he just dealing with her stuff?
Right.
No, what I'm saying is,
Yeah. No. Those are those bad relationships you're talking about. You're
Right.
talking about two people that are working.
Right.
Working together. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
you have to have a voice. Your partner has to have a voice.
Right.
If each one of you have something to bring to the table, that's how you build.
Exactly.
And when you build together, that foundation will be solid. But when you let others infiltrate your thought process, then it's crumbling already before it even gets started. So don't get married.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And I think, and then I'm gonna add one more point to that too, and then we're gonna move on to another question that I kind of wanted to ask you as well. I think on the flip side, it's okay to not agree as well. You know, from the standpoint of a person that says, you know, or that is being told or asked of or suggested to, I want you to change this. I don't like how you do this. I don't like how that works. Maybe we should do this. It's okay to say, no. I don't, because again, doubling back to what you said, you are not saying agree to deal with, right?
right.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
If you know it
You're
is
lessening yourself.
you're lessening yourself. If you know it is not within you to make those changes, if you doubt yourself that you can't make those changes, if you are not in tune with that person enough to make those changes, don't agree to something that you're setting the relationship up for failure. The
I
marriage
agree
for
with
failure.
that. I agree with that. But as I've always also said, if I'm not raised to know the difference between what sounds right and what is acceptable, I may go through my entire life before I meet you knowing that what you're telling me is basically no cap. You're not lying to me.
Right.
I may be raised to feel like I'm supposed to act a certain way, do a certain thing. Let me give you an example. So when I was younger, every Friday, every Saturday night, I was in a band. I was gigging every weekend, right? Local band, perfect mix. And yes, I was providing for you.
Yeah.
But if I get into a relationship where someone says to me, you know, I can help you provide. You don't have to gig anymore. My best example is this. I love the band.
Yeah.
I love performing.
Yeah. That's where I get it from.
I pulled you up on stage with me one time. But, and won first place, by the way.
Come on now.
Okay,
Come
just
on now.
saying, you know.
Tracy Chapman, right?
You know.
Yeah, come on now.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I said that to say this as an example, okay? Example A, I love performing. My partner says, I can provide for you. You don't have to do this anymore. I make a choice and I say, but I'm still wanting to be independent. But I'm providing for my son. What if we don't work out?
Yeah.
I want to still be able to do that. But the reality of it is, I just don't want to give up the band. Does he have to agree to that?
Not
No.
at all. Yeah.
He has the right to tell me, which that's not the scenario that actually happened, by the way. I'm just putting it out there.
Right.
But I was providing for you. But I would have given up the band and somebody, hey, you gonna pay? You gonna take care of me?
Exactly.
Let's do it.
Right.
But if we're in other words, if you're using something as a crutch, you don't want to give it up. You don't want to let it go, whatever that crutch is. And you're masking it with another reason why you don't want to change, give it up.
Yeah.
Eventually, that person is going to see the real
Yeah, they'll pick that up.
colors of the picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they walk away, it's not because they walked away saying, I just didn't like that. They walked away giving you the opportunity to see them for who they were and what they could bring to the table. And you chose to push that plate to the side and eat from the negativity. Okay, does that make sense what I'm saying?
That makes great sense. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Now, flip side, real quick. I can bring this to the table. I can support you. I can support your family. I can do whatever you need. I don't want you to do the band anymore. And you say, okay. Now, this person is cool with you not being in the band gigging every weekend, but they forgot to care about your feelings in the process.
Right.
See, that's what I'm saying. We have to give and take. We have to bend.
Yeah.
If you're going to take a person out of their comfort zone, you have to be willing to be there as a support system to help them cross to the other side.
Yeah.
You can't just expect them to just stop and drop
Right.
and then come over to your side. You have to give them time to pace themselves to understand, why are you telling me to do this? Or why are you asking me to do this? Oh, now I understand. Now that makes sense. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Help each other.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
No, you're good, man. I do want to ask you one last question regarding, relationships and the military before we move on to a game I like to play called Fact or Cap. Okay?
Okay.
So real quick, I'm going to ask you this question. Dad has been overseas. He's completed 5 tours, right, since you guys have been married, right?
Yeah.
So he's been overseas. He's been to Afghanistan, Kuwait, Iraq, just to name a few places. You talk about having that relationship, that communication, that soul tie. What was it like? September 11th happens, right? You find out that he's got to go overseas. How did your life change? How was it impacted at that time? And what was the communication like in the relationship at that time, knowing that you're going to be away from your partner for so long?
Wow, that's a great question. Okay, I'm gonna answer it like this because it was tough, right? It was rough. I internalize a lot. I don't share a lot, right? When I do share, it's because I'm full and fed up. right? So sometimes a person may get a whole bunch out of me. That's at that time when I'm fed up. And then sometimes they may not get anything out of me. Well, that's with anybody. But with me, it's different because I'm a Taurus and I'm stubborn.
Is that
But
where I get it from?
hey, it's preservation,
Right.
right?
100%. 100%.
But when your partner, okay, we've been married 24 years and we've only seen each other 50% of our marriage.
What?
50%.
Wow. Wow.
You have to have a strong mindset because as the outside world sees it, they just see me alone. Is she really married? You hear the chatter. You're dealing with the chatter of people, wondering are you really married? You're just wearing a band. You have the news coming back to you. Such and such got bombed. This incident happened. Then you have phone calls where you're supposed to have loving phone calls, but they're stressed out, and you're stressed out. So now you're arguing, right? And you said no cap, so I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, 100%.
It wasn't all roses, okay? But I'm gonna tell you how it ended up.
Okay.
Okay, for me, I can't speak for him, but I can say from his point of view, we're still good. Okay,
Yeah.
but when you have a long distance relationship like that, okay, you wanted to know about the communication. That was very different because I was dealing with baby mama drama. I was dealing with a war going on. I was dealing with every time one of us got mad at each other, we were talking about divorce. Well, he was and I was. That was not, and let me be clear, I was not threatening him with divorce, as in, I don't want to deal with this long distance relationship. I wanted to support him.
Yeah.
But when you're having all these negative things come at you, sometimes we say things that we don't mean, but it's to open up the other person's eyes, how serious these things are to you. Okay?
Yeah.
So divorce was on the table. And no, I wouldn't have gone through with it. I'm just being honest. I just wanted him to understand I was hurting.
Yeah.
And then you have the fact that you've got a good man and you know that he's over there serving the country. You know baby mama is on his tail just, you got money, I need this money. You've got every possible dart coming at you. And then while you're at home, you're raising the child or the children. You're dealing with family issues. You're dealing with, you know, I think at that time, were you going to college or where was I still?
No, that was 2001. So yeah,
Oh
I was a
yeah, so
long way from
yeah. I can't even remember. He was gone so long, but you're raising the children, and you have to be a solid good parent, a solid good role model, a solid good mentor. You don't have any time to think. You're just reacting.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So to answer your question, I went to Pluto. I'm back. The communication was off,
Yeah.
but the beautiful part about it is he and we realized how strong of a connection we had to each other.
Right.
That we realized, and here we go, I'm fixing to bring it on home. We realized the only reason why we argued was because of outside influences. It was never about us getting mad at each other.
Yeah.
When we realized that, divorce came off the table. I was able to help him, walk him through those hard, long days when he was seeing friends blown up in front of him. He didn't have a counselor. But because I softened down and bent just a little bit and understood where he was coming from, I was able to help him. And then when he realized, wait a minute, she's at home, a single parent, raising the kids and doing whatever she can do to help keep house and home together, keep it together for me when I get ready to come home.
Right.
He realized something. She's a beast. She's a mom.
Yeah.
She's working.
Yeah.
She's doing all this. And all in all, he was suffering his depression. I was suffering mine. But because we understood that the reason why we got married was not because it was the fashionable thing to do.
Right.
It was because we actually loved each other and cared about each other. We walked those vows and we walked them to the present day.
Man, I love that. That's awesome.
Hallelujah.
I think that's interesting, man. That's great insight because obviously I was younger at the time, so I knew Dad was, away overseas serving the country. I knew that you were at home doing the absolute best that you could, and you did do that.
Oh, thank you.
And as I get older, I realized that Dad was in his own war in the literal sense,
Yep,
and you had your own war
definitely.
in the literal sense as well.
Right,
Because his war was physical, yours was emotional and mental,
right.
and obviously physical too as well. But the awesome thing is that the one thing you need in a war is an ally,
Yes,
and you guys came together
yes,
and understood that and decided to be allies. You agreed to
Right.
be allies,
exactly.
and I think that's what's so important. That's what y'all's relationship has taught me going forward.
Solidarity.
Solidarity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's beautiful, man. So thank you for that insight. Now we're about to move on to the game fact or cap. Are you ready? You ready for some fact or cap?
Let me see if I am. I don't know. I might cap everything. Okay.
All right. So
Wait a minute. I got to put my hat on.
you gotta put the hat on. Okay. All right.
right.
You got it. You ready?
Yep.
All right. So fact or cap is super easy, right?
Okay.
I'm going to make a statement.
Okay.
And you're gonna say fact if you
Okay.
believe it to be true.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna say cap if you don't agree with it. Okay? Fact or cap. You ready? And I love that you brought a hat. I gotta implement that to the game show. To the show. I gotta implement that. All right. So your first question, fact or cap.
Okay.
Broke and content over rich and restless. Fact or cap?
Broken content over rich and restless.
Broke and content over rich and restless. Fact or cap?
Dog. Now, you came out of the gate with a hard one. Dog, I don't even. Okay, broken content or rich and restless. You mean, is it a fact that I would like to be broken content over rich and restless? Is that what you mean? Because I'm trying to understand the rules.
It's subjective. It's whatever you agree with, like whatever you personally agree with, right? So do you believe for yourself, right? It's a fact that you would rather be broke but content with what you have, or would you rather be rich and restless, not knowing what else you can do or what else you should do?
Okay, I'm fixing to get a lot of slaps on the internet for this one. I'm gonna say broken content because let me tell you why I say that.
Okay, we got a broken content. I think that's one of the first ones we got. We got a broken content.
Let me just say this. I don't want to be rich. I want to be wealthy.
Okay.
Okay, so wealthy wasn't even on the table.
Nah.
Okay,
Nah.
rich and restless does nothing for me. Okay,
Okay.
because the more money you have, the more problems you have.
Okay. Biggie
And
Smalls. Okay.
and so I don't want to be restless, always worrying about my money.
Okay.
Obviously I'm not happy if I'm worried about it, but I am able to do things. But if I'm broke, I can always build off of broke. Okay, done.
Okay. All right. That's what it is. I got you. So, well, before I move on, I think that's cool because, in my personal opinion, I think they're one and the same. And I'm thinking outside the box, right? You don't have to agree with me if you don't want to. Not you necessarily, but I'm just saying in general. If I'm broken content, that means what I have is what I have, whether that's a little or a lot or nothing, and I'm content. If I'm rich and restless, then I have everything, but I want to do more. I'm not.
Do you have everything if you're rich? You don't own anything if you're rich. If you're wealthy,
Yeah.
then you have quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree with that. When you're wealthy, you have a plethora of you have an abundance of what you need, right? And wealth will essentially equal content, right? But I think I look at it like this: whether I'm broke or whether I'm rich, I'm still satisfied with the things that I have.
Okay.
And I look at restless in the sense of not restless like, I need more, but restless as in what more can I attain?
Okay.
So I think it's very cool the insight that you can give, and I agree with you too. Like being broken content. I mean, like, yeah, if broke doesn't necessarily mean broke
Down,
Yeah,
broke up,
that's not
broken.
what that means.
It just means that you're minimum wage, average, whatever. But you can build off of that
Yeah.
because you can study and do whatever you need to do to, advance.
Yeah.
If you're rich, you're already advanced, you're already there. But did you earn that or was it handed to you?
Yeah.
And the restlessness can come in from someone handing you that.
Yeah.
If you don't understand how you got it or what to do with it, you're never going to actually know how to keep it. So I don't want to be rich. I want to be wealthy, meaning I want more for what I can own, what I can bring to the table, and what I can pay it forward and help others.
Yeah.
Okay, so wealthy went on the table, so I'm gonna leave it there.
I think that's dope. All right, next question, factor cap. The glass is half empty, not half full.
Okay, so basically, even though the glass has water in it, right?
You must have watched what Brad said.
I'm just saying, even though the glass has water in it,
Yeah.
I go back to when you think about something that's half empty, it's something to work for you to fill. If it's half full, which in retrospect is the same thing as half empty, but if it's half full, if you're looking at it from the aspect of my life is okay, but I've got a little bit too much and I need to figure out how to reroute myself, then let me take away something and only add the things I need
Yeah.
so that I can be a better person, a better me. So you said factor cap on half empty, half full. What's the statement? Because you want me to choose half empty or half full?
Yeah. Do you think it's a fact that the glass is half empty? Or do you think that's cap that the glass is half empty and you think it's half full?
Oh, well, it's fact it's half empty.
It's fact.
Yeah, it's fact.
All right. Say
Yeah,
that.
you know.
I like that.
Don't try to
swagger,
trick
boy. I
me.
like
I'm
that
50
swagger.
years old. Don't do that.
You are not. Stop.
Just,
no, you're not.
just go on and bring it out there. Mom, do you think the glass is half empty? Why? Ask me like that. Man, gotta take another drink.
So factor cap. Love don't cost a thing.
Cap all day long.
Cap. Big cap.
Big
cap. Big cap. Okay.
Yeah, that's some expensive shit right there.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's big cap.
It's you know what? It's more expensive with emotions than money. Stop. I'm just kidding.
Factor cap. You learn more with vulnerability than you do restraint.
You learn more with vulnerability than you do with restraint. Okay. Hold on a second, because I'm an intuitive person. Hold
you
on.
like that question?
Hold on.
Yes,
I do. Yes, I do. Because
that
I'm
one.
fixing to tackle
Yeah,
this one.
just came up with that one.
I'm restrained, right?
Okay.
I've got to do some figuring to get myself out of this restraint. Okay. By the way, I choose restraint.
Okay, so you think it's cap that you learn more with vulnerability than you do restraint?
Right.
Okay.
So restraint teaches you stamina. Restraint teaches you problem solving. Okay. Vulnerability, all that does is allow for more emotions to come in that are unnecessary.
Okay.
You don't think
Okay.
like you would if you were restrained. You don't operate or move like you were if you were restrained. If you're restrained, you're restricted. If you're vulnerable, you can still move around, still do what you need to do, and still fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Restriction is if you get out of this, you have won. Or to a certain level of winning. Just because you get out of there, the trap door still, you still have to get out of it.
Right,
yeah. But shit, I got out of the chair. But damn, okay, but now let me stop. So it's a level. So I will say it's a cap, vulnerability.
Okay. I dig that.
This game is a trip.
I dig it.
But I like it.
I think just my quick 2 cents on it. I think it can go either way. But it depends on I think it depends on the mentality of a person.
Oh, I like that.
And I think your answer is a testament of your mentality. You have a very strong mentality. So and that's not to say a person who would have chosen vulnerability to be weak.
Right,
I just
right.
think it can go either way, right?
Right.
So I think with vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You go into something open-minded,
Mm-hmm.
free,
Mm-hmm.
fair game,
Gotcha.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If you get hurt
Mm-hmm.
physically, mentally, emotionally, financially,
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you learn,
True.
right? You
True.
learn
True.
what not to do the next time,
True.
right?
True. That's true.
If you go in with restraint,
Mm-hmm.
right? A
Right.
person may say, "Hey, you need to invest in this.
Mm-hmm.
I did this by doing that,
Okay.
right?"
Do I still have this hat on? Yeah.
You-
Okay. You're talking knowledge, and I got the hat on, restraining my. That's why I'm giving you these bad answers. No,
Nah, man. Restraining that big
my
head on
son
it.
is
Not just kidding
smarter than
about.
me. I'm just putting it out there. Okay, go ahead.
But if you go in with restraint
Mm-hmm.
to a suggestion
Mm-hmm.
or advice,
Mm-hmm.
you could potentially harm yourself. You could potentially not learn.
Okay.
That's one way to
I
look
like
at
that.
it. That's one way to look at it.
I can receive
You,
that.
you can dig that.
Yeah, I can.
But on the other end, I could agree with you that would be cap as well, because here's the thing. Bad relationships, as you mentioned earlier, happen because you're not learning from you being vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
You didn't
You
have that
did open
restraint.
yourself up. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
did have open yourself up.
Right.
You didn't have restraint and self-respect for yourself.
Right.
And therefore you got hurt. You didn't learn your lesson because you keep going back to it. So I think it can go
Right.
either way.
Yeah, I think so. And you know what? To design these questions, like how they're being presented, I love the fact that you're giving questions that are able to have a both ways answer.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I like that how you design that. That's pretty. Yeah.
I mean,
Whatever.
I'm a little smart.
Moving on.
All right, one more question on Factor Cap before we move on
Okay.
and get ready to wrap this thing up.
All right.
I want to ask you this. Is it better to be politically correct or brutally honest?
I'm gonna go ahead and say brutally honest, only because sometimes when a person is giving you a politically correct answer, it doesn't serve its purpose. And what I mean by that is sometimes you just want to cut it to the quick, right?
Right.
And you want to know how to receive what someone has to say to you. If they go all the way around the world and give you all these statistics and data and all that, if you don't understand, that did you no good. But if they're straightforward and they tell you, okay, this is what it is, then you have more to deal with. You have more to maneuver with.
Yeah.
So brutally honest, I would say.
Brutally honest. I got you. Cool. So, two questions, Mom. First one is, do you believe the universe has a voice? That's an open-ended question, I know. But subjectively, do you believe the universe has a voice? Yeah, we've been drinking a little bit over here. We got a little...
I've been drinking. Okay, so let me say this. I do believe, and again, I'm coming from a standpoint of intuitiveness, okay? Because I'm an empath. I feel others. I believe in signs.
Okay.
So therefore, the universe does have a voice, in my opinion. Because signs don't just come to an ordinary person. You have to be extraordinary.
Yeah.
You have to be, here we go with the word vulnerable. You have to be willing to look at something and look past it.
Right.
If a sign shows you, a dream shows you something, be vulnerable enough to receive what that dream is trying to tell you. So let's talk about the universe, okay? If you are just walking and something just, I don't know, a sign shows you, like if you have a question about something, if you're dwelling on something,
Yeah.
and out of the blue, a sign just comes to you, a streak of light in the sky, something.
Yeah.
You're walking, something a crack in the ground, and it has a design that normal people wouldn't see, but you look at that crack in the ground and you see something there and you make a picture out of it.
Yeah.
That's the universe speaking to you without you having to hear a voice. So the signs are, to me, the voice. I don't believe in entities talking to you. No. I mean, shit, something talk to me. I'm
Right. So you might need to go to the crazy house.
Uber me.
Right.
But I do believe in signs, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
I got you. I do too. I believe in science too. So we'll be in the crazy house together. All right. So last question, or not last question, but the
Let's
second
book
question.
that appointment, shall we?
You've heard the term iron sharpens iron, right? Okay. Who is someone you would consider an iron that has sharpened you?
I sharpen myself.
Hey, that's an answer. That's an answer.
Iron sharpens iron. Okay, brutally honest.
Right.
My mom.
I feel that.
She was the epitome of strength.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. She died of breast cancer, and she never whimpered. She never complained. She always gave her tithes in church. She never cussed. She never smoked, drank, anything like that. She was a God-fearing woman. She was a great single-parent mother. Even when my dad was basically like, I don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
She was. Okay? In watching her as I grew up, she was brilliant with numbers. Never went to college. But she could see numbers as I'm looking at you and just add up in her head. And you could go to a calculator and that would be exactly what that calculator told you.
Yeah.
She taught me respect. She taught me morals. And I believe that's why, and let me give you this as an example so that I can bring it on home, because I know I can talk a long time. She sharpened me to get ready for a couple of things. I'm gonna explain all that in just a second. But let me just say that so I can bring it on home to you. The way she raised me, I was able to instill some of that in you.
100%.
Iron sharpens iron. That's why you're the gem that you are.
Yeah.
I'm not pumping your head. I'm telling you the truth. You are the way you are because I received, I was vulnerable. I accepted what she had to show me. You were vulnerable. I can't say that word for some reason. And you received what I had to show you. So iron sharpened iron.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with that being said, let me bring it on home. So mom was the type of person that she was quiet, first of all. But when she said something, she meant it. And she gave a firm hand when she needed to.
Yeah.
She never spoke out of turn. Whatever she said, she meant. She kept a clean home. She provided. And she was able to instill in me the love of school. So I never was fast. I never brought home 8,000 babies and 17 baby daddies. I wanted something out of my life. I had goals, dreams, and ambitions, hence the military. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. Whatever's for you is for you. I'm bringing it all back around.
Yeah.
Because she raised me the way she did, I was then able to take all of that she taught me and instilled in me, and I was able to survive. She taught me survivability.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's deep.
That is deep.
Because my God rest his soul, my brother didn't have survivability, but he loved and he loved hard.
Yeah.
But while he's loving, I'm kind of building this shield of protection
Yeah.
and didn't know that was preparing me for all the stuff that I was about to endure in life. What is for you is for you. I have endured more crap, more stuff, more shit than a little bit. And it helped me to understand how to deal with it because I watched my mom deal with stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm able to say this, and I'm done. The reason why I give her her accolades, her flowers, I say that she is the iron that sharpened this iron, is because I've always said when I had my own children, I was going to make sure I was a wall of iron for them to lean on
Right.
so that they still could live their lives. But if they ever needed to see
Yeah.
what it was like to be solid, they could look at me.
Yeah. That's hard, man.
Go ahead and hand clap on that one.
We'll give you the hand clap. I think that's brilliant, man. And I can definitely see how Mama Elsie would be your iron that sharpens you. And I will forever be grateful that that's my grandmother, that's your mom, and you're my mom. Because she sharpened you,
Yeah.
you sharpen me. And I love that. I love that.
And I'm just going to say this really quickly. A lot of people can't handle that.
Right.
They don't understand that type of iron clad, solid
Yeah.
upbringing.
Yeah.
It's too surreal.
Yeah.
It's too unfathomable. What can I do with this? A person like you, what can I do with you?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I've never met anybody like you. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your friends who may meet you or your acquaintances who may meet you.
Right.
That's why when I tell you all the time you're a gem, I want you to understand I'm not pumping your head up. I'm telling you that there's something rare about you because you came from rarity. You came from a rare situation.
Yeah.
You came from a family of disciplinarians who wanted the better for their family.
Right.
And notice I didn't say the best.
Right.
The path you choose in your life, you make your best. All I'm supposed to do is make your better.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I love that.
shut it
I love
down.
that.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, Mon, the show is getting ready to end. We're about to wrap this up.
Oh,
But silly. But on No Cap Allowed, obviously I'm a finance manager at a car dealership. So I
Okay.
like to I like to implement a little bit of financial literacy. So I'm
Yes,
gonna ask you a
please.
question, right?
okay.
You're a school teacher, right? If you notice, the majority of schools do not have a financial literacy class.
Right.
What
Ooh.
why do you think that is?
Well, okay, really quickly. The system is dumbing down the children year after year as we speak. If you don't educate your children on the things that they need to know, then they're going to be handicapped. When they're handicapped, they're dependent. When they're dependent, they're less how can I put it? They're less informed.
100%.
And so if you're dependent, that means that you're always going to take out loans and not pay them because money is thrown at you. You don't know how to budget. You don't know how to finance. You don't know how to invest.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that that's a fault of the full government or the full school system, but it starts from Washington. Washington makes these rules and these laws, right? Parents in my generation on back did have this in school. We
Yeah.
did have financial literacy, financial management,
Right.
budgeting, accounting. We learned how to ledger books, okay? Balance books. But if we don't take that responsibility as parents from my generation on back and teach our kids, which, by the way, I did try to teach you as best I could about savings.
100%. Yeah.
But that's my example. If I don't teach you, when you go to school and you're not being taught that, and I'm not teaching you, you're dumbing down, you're lessening, you're less informed.
Yeah.
You're more dependent on the government now. So it is my responsibility as a parent to start there. But I feel like Washington has a lot to do with that. It's a design to keep you from knowing the things that you need to know so that you will stay dependent. That's my answer.
That's your answer. I love it. I love it. Well, Ma, I greatly appreciate you for stopping by.
Is it over?
It's never over, but I greatly appreciate you stopping by to my podcast, No Cap Allowed. This has been excellent, and I can't believe it's already been an hour because I feel like
Has it really?
I feel like we could keep going with
Yes.
this. You know,
I love it.
But
you're the yin and I'm the yang.
Come on now,
Okay.
you already know what to say. Come on now,
Sip.
You dropped off a lot of great gems.
Did you say dumbness?
Nah, you dropped off a lot of great gems, and I'm so grateful for the information that you shared on my show. And Ma, I think that you are my iron that has sharpened me. And,
I love it.
And this will forever be my favorite episode, Ma, because
Mine
to have
too.
you here, seeing me where I'm at, accomplish
Yes.
all that I have, Ma, I greatly appreciate you, and I love you from the bottom of my heart.
Man,
I love you.
I love you.
And with that said, we are.
We are.
No cap allowed.